Hello, everyone. We are back talking more about divination systems as part of our Pisces social media month. And there's two of us together this time. So I'm Selena, and I'll let you introduce yourself, Dawn.
I'm Dawn. We're both Pisces deputies.
And today, for this installment, we're going to be talking about cartomancy. So cartomancy is divination using cards, and it really applies to several different types of any sort of pictorial or written on paper or something like that would fall under cartomancy. But we're specifically going to be talking about oracle cards and tarot cards today. And I'm going to let Dawn go first, and she's going to be talking about oracle systems. We talked earlier about the difference between fixed and fluid systems, and you can use cartomancy in both of those different ways. So she's going to be talking to us about oracle decks.
So, oracle decks are really an artist's interpretation of all sorts of different ideas and art that they like, and that you can dive into those pictures to see what you want to see. Some oracle cards are like this one, where you have some kind of really beautiful either computer image or a painted image that you can dive into. This one is called the Architect. And the idea behind it is you can see how there's a building there, but you can also kind of soften your eyes to see if maybe you see something else that's building for you. They're very loose interpretations. You can choose what it is you want to see. Most of the oracle cards will come with a book, but some of them will not. And you can just take your own time to figure it out. I have another oracle deck here from the wonderful Laura Tempest Zakroff. This is her Anatomy of the Witch Oracle. This one is water, and you can see how she has that snail and that heart that's underwater and the bubbles. And what would you see in that if you pulled that out? If you were like, I really need to be shown something today, what can you show me? And this is what you get. So you can interpret that however you want. I would see it more as that love, trust, emotion. You need to take care of yourself. There's a little shell there saying maybe you need to take care of yourself. Oracle cards are really wonderful because you can create your own oracle cards and your own interpretations of what it is you're looking for in a divination system. They're loose that way so that you can create whatever you want.
I really like that about oracle systems because you can use that imagery to sort of tap into different parts of your own psyche in ways that can be more difficult with a fixed system. Of course, some of the downsides of that is you can read it how you want to read it, and either for the better or for the worse. You know, not everybody reads it how they want to read it and says, "Oh, good fortune." Sometimes you're misinterpreting and you're seeing all this bad fortune, and that's not healthy either. So it's great to use those systems as a whole system and make sure that you have a little bit of positive things and a little bit of negative things. Like, it should encompass the whole experience, and usually those are in the artwork themselves. Okay, so let's talk about some fixed card reading systems. So everyone's favorite is the tarot. I'll start with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which I write on my cards, so you may see things on there that aren't on the actual cards. That's fine. So these are the Rider-Waite-Smith cards, and they're very sort of simple drawings, but they have a lot of meaning behind them. When I first started reading, my early teacher told me that I had to use this deck. Like, this was the only one, you have to use that one, period, the end. And I really bucked against that because I don't like being told what to do. But I just didn't connect with it. And a lot of people have that, difficulty connecting with the artwork. So for me, I found a different deck that was related to, like, the artwork was still based on that deck. But the artwork spoke to me more clearly. So that, for me, that deck was the Gilded Tarot. And I've got some, they're all upside down, but you can see there's a little bit more depth to the artwork. Let me hold it up closer so you can maybe see, possibly. It's the
Mhm.
same kind of imagery, but there's a little bit more color, more movement. It spoke to me personally in a deeper way, but it still led me to understand the meaning behind um, the original designs. And from that, I've been able to connect, since I've studied the tarot a lot more. I've been able to connect with the symbolism there, and I understand now why I was told that. But for a beginning reader, I would recommend finding a deck that speaks to you, because if there's not a communication, then you're not going to take anything from it. Some great ways to start learning a fixed system, because there are meanings that are ascribed to the cards, but there's a depth of meaning. There's nuances to every single card. There's no card that has one meaning only. I tend to think of each card as like a person, and every person has layers and layers and layers of meaning to their personality and depth. And your relationship with individuals will evolve as you get to know them. And your relationships and understanding of the cards will evolve as you work with them and as you do readings. So keep at it. If you're not connecting with the cards, keep learning, keep at it. You may just get surface type stuff at first, because you're just getting to know the cards. Like, there's a living consciousness behind these images. Um, one of the very, very easy things you can do when you start working with a new deck is sleep with them under your pillow. And you sort of, you get to know people when you sleep with them. So sleep with your cards, and you will start to glean information through osmosis. Um, but pull a card each day and look at the card and write down in your journal um, everything that you're thinking and feeling when you see that card, when you look at that card, when you read the name of that card, what's coming through to you. Write it all down, and then go about your day. And then by the end of the day, come back to it and look it up in the book, or there's some great books on tarot out there. um, and see what, if you're using a particular deck, you probably want to use the artist's book that comes with the deck, because they're going to have some meaning in there that you may not pick up on. But yeah, but then see what the meaning is. And were you close? Did you get something completely opposite? Because you may be getting the shadow message of that card. So do that and develop that. And after about a year, you've pulled all the cards at least twice, and you're going to learn a lot more. You'll start to see that you pull similar cards over and over again, which can also tell you something about your own journey, or your journey with the tarot. So I highly encourage learning a fixed system, whether it's tarot or whether it's a runic system or some other sort of system, because it limits your ability to misinterpret, um, unless you just fight it. I mean, I guess you can do that, but because the cards do have particular meanings, you're not going to make it all, you're not going to be able to easily make it all bubbly and beautiful, you know. So yeah, that's one set, and there's all sorts of sets you can work with. One of the ones I really like, it's called the Tree of Life Tarot, or no, it's not. I call it that. That's not it. It's called the Tarot of Dreams. And they're really sort of beautiful, but they have a lot more symbolism. Like, they have Jewish letters and planetary symbols and all of that sort of stuff. So if you're studying like Hermetic Kabbalah or anything like that, these are really great. Let's see. I've got a bunch. Oh, I have a new one. I thought I had it out and open, but I don't. Oh, it's hiding. This is the Alchemical Tarot from Robert Place, and I just got it. So it's beautiful. It has these beautiful silver edges. And this one's hard to find, but it's just been re-released. So I encourage you to get that one. But it has a lot of the alchemical symbols and things on it as well. So that's a fun one. And
I have that deck.
you have that deck? It's so good. But
I do.
I would encourage you to find a deck that speaks with you, but learn the system. Learn the system. What else? I wasn't going to show any other cards, I don't think. I forgot what I
So
was
I
going to say.
have the Steampunk Tarot.
Mm,
I have the Steampunk Tarot, which is based on the Rider Waite deck. So you have a lot of the same symbols and the same ideas behind it. But the other deck that I have that I love reading with is called the Rorig Tarot. It has the alchemical symbols, but it also has key words at the top. So as you were talking about how this could limit you because you might only see abundance as this particular card, where when you see it in the Rider Waite deck, you see three people celebrating. There's usually a lifting of cups of some way. So it's not just abundance. There can be celebration, there can be connection, there can be a lot of friendship, a lot of communication going on. So it all depends on how you like it. And as Selena said, I highly encourage you to find something that you connect with. If you like crows, you can find a crow tarot. If you like steampunk, obviously you can find a steampunk tarot. If you can find something that you love, you will connect with it more. And the Rider Waite Smith deck is the groundwork for all of this. So if you can't really connect with anything, find that deck and just take some time with it. You'll be surprised at the definition at what you get.
yeah, and as you get to connect with these, and there are some decks that are beautiful artistry, but they're not awake. And they may just not be awake yet because maybe they haven't been used a lot. And that could be something that develops over time. But decks that have been used for a long, long time, particularly if they were crafted in such a way where they are literally connected with spirit, that's a contacted deck. And that's the Rider Waite Smith deck is one of those. And so they will communicate with you. They're gateways to particular realms of consciousness, and you can learn a lot through working with them. And the symbolism really ties into a lot of other, occult philosophies and things like that. So yeah, it's important to learn the system, but each deck's going to give you a different type of reading, especially your oracle decks. So as you learn and get to know them, you may use one particular deck for a certain type of reading. Maybe this deck really knows its stuff about romance and relationships. So if someone comes to you wanting to know that, that's your go-to deck. Maybe this other one is really good with career and things like that. So as you get to know your decks, they'll have they may be better at certain types of readings as well. And you may do divination to choose which deck is appropriate for whatever reading that you're doing, and that can give you some nuance into the reading that you may not get otherwise. Yeah. So I love the tarot. I was terrified of it for a long time because I was like, I'm the worst reader ever. And now I do all the divination for the temple. So maybe I wasn't as bad as I thought. But yeah, I've loved getting to know those cards and use them on your altar. You can use them as a focal point. I keep picking this one up because it's on top, which I think is great. You can use them as focal points on your altar to connect with those different areas of consciousness, the different spirit behind the cards as well. That's all I have to say about tarot today. Anything else? Anything you want to add before we sign off?
I think that's good. And you should find a divination system that works for you. Some people really enjoy cards. Having them in your hand to play with is a lot of fun. And I definitely recommend that you find a set that's right for you.
I agree. And they're so easy to pack a lot of meaning into just, a small space, right? So I have a deck in my purse at all times.
Like a true witch.
Right? Witches. Okay, so that was Cartomancy. Come back and we'll continue to post more videos about different types of divination throughout the rest of Pisces month. So thanks for watching.
Thank you.